Death Race 2 is a 2011 American science fiction action film directed by Roll Rainier Cute, written by Tony Gilio and Paul W. S. Anderson. The film is a prequel to the 2008 film Death Race and was released DVD on January 18, 2011. The film is followed by a sequel, Death Race 3: Inferno. The film explores the origins of the first Frankenstein car driver, Carl Luke Lucas. Plot: in 2012, private corporations own and manage the prison systems. Getaway driver Carl Luke Lucas is arrested after a robbery for his crime boss Marcus Kane goes wrong. As his accomplices are robbing the bank, two officers casually enter the building. Luke tells them to abort, but they refuse. Luke intervenes, but it results in the death of one of the three accomplices. Luke shoots and kills one of the officers and dumps off his accomplices in order to fulfill Marcus's wishes. In doing so, Luke is eventually captured by the police following a high-speed chase and sentenced in prison. 6 months later, Luke is transferred to Terminal Island. Terminal Island is a prison under the control of the Wayland Corporation, which hosts Deathmatch, a televised pay-per-view competition where two dangerous convicts are chosen and then forced to fight to the death or submission. The prisoners are given access to weapons or defense items to use during the fight by stepping on a marked plate in the arena. Luke meets the men who eventually become his pit crew in the death race. Lists, who annoys him by overanalyzing everything. Goldberg, and Rocco. The host of Deathmatch is September Jones, a former Miss Universe who lost her crown due to allegations of having a sexual relationship with all of its judges. She now works for the Wayland Corporation to create profit from the pay-per-view subscribers of Deathmatch. When a convict tries to stab Lists, Luke takes it upon himself to defend him. Luke is later approached in the showers by September, who proposes that he fight. When he refuses, she makes sexual advances towards him, which he pretends to go for before refusing. In retaliation, September chooses Lists to fight within a death match with the convict Big Bill who tried to stab him earlier. Luke confronts her while Lists is running for his life during the event, pleading to let him fight in place of Lists. She refuses to help and he jumps over a barbed fence to fight for Lists. He is joined by Katrina Banks, a woman convict who is serving as a ring girl with other female convicts. She hits the convict with a round number sign made of metal. A riot breaks out during the fight between Luke and the convict because of racial tension, sparked because Luke is white and the other convict is black. The convicts break down the fence to get in, and some of the rapists attack and attempt to rape female convicts. Katrina defends herself and helps other women, who are then evacuated. When the riot control guards come, Luke surrenders. Marcus, worried that Luke will trade info on his crimes for immunity, discovers his location at Terminal Island while watching Deathmatch. Afterward, Luke is well received when he sees Katrina and inquires about her well-being after the fight. Marcus puts a bounty of $1 million on Luke's head and convinces some of the prisoners to kill him. Meanwhile, September comes up with a plan to boost their profits by converting the death match into a death race, where the contestants will have to race over days to win each match. The person who manages to win 5 matches will be released from prison. Luke joins the race, during which other prisoners try to kill him to earn Marcus's bounty. On the second race, Luke's car crashes after being fired a missile by Big Bill. Luke's pit crew arrives including Katrina try to save him but it's too late and everybody is led to believe that Luke is dead. In reality, he survives with extensive scarring to his face. He joins the race as the new character, Frankenstein, with a mask to hide his identity from others. As the third race begins, Luke's new triad friends manage to kill Marcus in revenge. Lists kills one of Luke's pit crew Rocco who set up on Luke's car and Luke kills September by running her over with his car, before he races with the other competitors. Cast: Races Luke Goss's Carl Luke Lucas Frankenstein. His car is driven by Jensen Ames in Death Race. Rob Earnshaw as 14K, a 10th-generation Triad member, who was sent to business school and holds a degree from MIT. He is the only racer other than Frankenstein to appear in all three films. Diobia Opere as Big Bill, one of Luke's rivals. His car is driven by Machine Gun Joe in Death Race. Henny Bossman as Xander Grady. His car is driven by Pachenko in Death Race. Sean Higgs as Hillbilly. His car is driven by Siad in Death Race. Warwick Grier as Kalen. His car is driven by Carson in Death Race. Chase Armitage as Apache. His car is driven by Riggins in Death Race. Michael Solomon as the Sheikh. His car is driven by Travis Colt in Death Race. Trajan Milano of Troy as Scarface. His car is driven by Hector Grimm in Death Race. Other cast: Tanit Phoenix as Katrina Banks, Luke's navigator and love interest. Lauren Cohan as September Jones, Death Race's hostess, executive producer, formerly of Deathmatch. She is a former Miss Universe who lost her crown due to allegations of having a sexual relationship with all of its judges. Fred Kohler as Lists, one of Luke's pit crew and a compulsive data collector. He is the only other person to appear in all three films. He has been sentenced for murdering his mother. Ving Rhames as R.H. Wayland, head of Wayland International. Danny Trejo as Goldberg, a loyal member of Luke's pit crew. Sean Bean as Marcus Kane, Luke's former crime boss. Patrick Lister as Medford Parks, Terminal Island Penitentiary's warden. Joe Vaz as Rocco, a member of Luke's pit crew. Cars. The cars in the film are real vehicles that have been heavily modified with armor plating, machine guns and defensive weapons. Frankenstein's Monster, a 5-speed manual 2006 Ford Mustang GT armed with dual M134 miniguns for offense, and a smoke screen, napalm, and oil slick for defense, as well as a 6-inch thick detachable steel plate on the rear bumper called the Tombstone. It was later driven by Jensen Ames. 1973 Porsche Carrera 2.7 RS, a 5-speed manual vehicle with a stock 2.7 L six-cylinder engine, driven by the Chinese convict 14K. Enforced with dual World War II German MG-42 belt-fed general-purpose machine guns, 4 hood-mounted missiles, and 4 missiles on the roof. 2001 Dodge Ram 2500 Big Bill's 5-speed automatic truck with a 5.7 L V8 Hemi engine, armed with a cowcatcher, 4 hood-mounted Browning M1919s, 2 side-mounted Vulcan cannons, and Russian RPG-7s. It was later driven by Machine Gun Joe. 1966 Buick Riviera, a Grand Sport, Xander Grady's turbo 3-speed automatic with a 430 CI V8 engine. The Riviera is enforced with German MG-34s, Uzis, and PPS H-41 submachine guns. It was later driven by Pachenko. 1989 BMW E32 735i, Hillbilly's 4-speed automatic with a 6-cylinder engine. The BMW is enforced with an M134 and bullet-resistant steel. It was later driven by Siad. 1979 Pontiac Trans Am, Callan's 3-speed automatic with a 350 HO V8 engine with her M134 aiming backwards for defense, and a .50 caliber turret on top of his car which is operated by his navigator. It was later driven by Carson. 1972 Buick Grand Riviera, Apache's 3-speed automatic with a 430 CI V8 nail-head engine. The boat tail is enforced with German MG-34s, 2 Uzis, and 2 PPS H-41 submachine guns. It was later driven by Riggins. 1989 Jaguar XJRS, the Sheikh's 4-speed automatic with a V12 engine. The Jaguar is enforced with bullet-resistant steel and .50 caliber M2 machine guns. It was later driven by Travis Colt. 2005 Chrysler 300C, Scarface's 5-speed automatic with a 345 CI V8 engine. The Chrysler is enforced with 3 FN Mag 58s, a missile and oil slick. It was later driven by Hector Grimm. Production. On November 13, 2009, casting began for the prequel. On December 7, 2009, it was announced that Roll Rainey Acute would direct the film. On January 5, 2010, Luke Goss was announced for the leading role as Carl Luke Lucas, who becomes Frankenstein. Principal photography began on February 13, 2010 in Cape Town, South Africa. The film was shot in various locations in and around the central city of Cape Town, including the Castle of Good Hope, Robben Island and an abandoned cement factory near the townships outside Cape Town. Release. The film was released direct-to-DVD on January 18, 2011. A trailer was released on October 3, 2010. Sequel. A straight-to-DVD and Blu-ray sequel called Death Race 3. Inferno was released in January 2013.